And
Folks, today's episode, I'm really happy to say, is actually sponsored by Factor 75. If you don't happen to know what Factor 75 is, Factor 75 is a prepared meal kit. Partnering with myself, my username online is Rager Brian on Twitch, and I've decided if we do end up getting people to sign up to celebrate the trade deadline that is coming up. Anybody who signs up, you get 50% off your first box, and each sign up is an additional $90 that I'm going to add into the championship total at the end of this season. So I'll have Hugo put the link in the video for the podcast. Go ahead and check it out if you have any questions. Also, feel free to DM me, but I figured it could be the least that I could do to give back to the league in some way. So toss it back over to Hugo. This is not a joke. This is very real. So just a heads up.
on that note, welcome to King's Court 24 season trade deadline special. Brian, what an intro, man. The first ever podcast sponsored by Factor. Check that out, Brian. That is very nice of you. Very nice gesture. If you do sign up using his link, which we will put in the comment, he's adding to the fund, guys. That's effing awesome. So today, like you've seen so far, we got Vinny, we got Brian. It's gonna be a hell of a time here, boys. I think Vinny had to run real quick right there, and he's back. But hello
We're
to
good.
both
We're
you
good.
boys. Vinny, how are you? We'll start with you since Brian just got the intro. And he's hold on. Vinny, you there? We got you.
Yeah, I'm here.
All
You
right.
can hear me, right?
Now we're good. Talk to us. How are you, Vinny?
Yeah, doing good, feeling good. Maybe not specifically about this league, but just in general.
And Brian, what's going on, man? Love to have you on.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. I was the last time y'all recorded. I was getting over COVID. I was actually in the midst of fighting COVID. I actually just got back from Canada today. I came back from Montreal. Nice little 4.5 hour drive. Hugo hit me up the other day. He's like, "Do you want to be on the episode?" I was like, "I would love to be back." So I made sure I was back in time. Took a little power nap beforehand. Took some notes and stuff like that. Made sure I had something to talk about. But yeah, I'm stoked to be back on King's Court.
I love to hear that, Brian. That just shows the dedication you got to have for this league. That is the voice of right now. He's an under 500 team, but soon to be over 500 team because that is the winning attitude right there. Love to hear that. So boys, trade deadline special. I'm hoping this podcast makes some fireworks by the end of it. It gets the league rattled up. Maybe some owners get a little shook with what we got to say about their team, but you got to hear it, right? You got to hear it from someone.
Yep.
And
So,
best to hear it from the 3, 4, and 5 teams right now.
Who better to tell you what to do than teams that do not have a winning record?
yes, who better? Love that, boys. Well, let's get to it. I'm gonna pop up the screen here with the league, and there we are, boys. Um, the standings, man. What a season this is gonna be to freaking end it, man. We got 5 more weeks, including this one that we're on right now. So we're just more than halfway through it. And boys, I don't know about you. This is gonna be a crazy finish.
Yeah, it is insane to me that I'll look at the top five just specifically, but the fact that they're all within a game of each other when we are just over the halfway point of the season now, it's incredible to me. And even looking down a little bit further than that, you look at the middle of the league and it's still so close. Even the points for are all very similar. The points against, it seems like a very overall even league. The bottom half I don't think we're probably not going to talk about it too much during this trade deadline unless basically if you feel like burning the bridge and starting completely over, that's always an
Yeah.
option, but I don't think we're going to dive too much into those. But yeah, it's an impressive league to be a part of. I'm glad the second season it seems to be very, very evenly matched across the board.
It's gonna be a lot closer than last year for sure. And still, it's gonna be an unexpected winner this year. Vinny, what are your takes on it?
Yeah, I mean, love it so far. I didn't expect anyone to completely run away into first or anybody to completely fall into last. A couple teams have dealt with some injuries, taken some losses, but the fact that we have 5 teams right now at 4 and 5, and it looks like only 2 of them can get in, that's a dogfight.
Yep, yes, sir, it is. So, where we wanted to get started here, we were talking about it during our production meeting here. We're professional. We have some of those here, folks. And Vinny, you brought up a good point. Hey, let's just check in from where we were in the power rankings before the season to where we currently are right now. Just a little catch up time. And Vinny, what do you got to say on
Oh yes, let's bring in some stats here, boys. But we
that?
have we have from the rankings to begin the season, we will do the highest mover from low to high, the biggest mover from high to low, and then we also have three perfects. So biggest mover from low to high, we have Ivy. Everyone said he was number 11, sitting here at number 2, jumped up 9 spots. That's absolutely huge for him. I don't
Very
even know if
impressive.
he expected it, but very, very impressive to move up that much. Everyone counted you out of the playoffs. Looks like you're a lock. You're sitting number 2 right now. Even last week, you were number 1. So,
Yes. And I'd like to just I'm not ratting on him, but just a text from him. I tried getting an answer from Alex today. I'm like, dude, how are you doing it? And per quote, I just win when I need to. That's from Alex, the source himself. What an answer. I just win when I need to.
Not gonna lie, kind of the way that fantasy football goes, but what a legendary quote to fucking say just out of nowhere. I just win when I need
yeah,
to.
throw that on the trophy if he wins.
Yeah.
That's good.
Give me the
All
biggest
right.
faller, Vinny.
Biggest faller, though. Sorry to tell you, though, it is Marty. We did rank him at 6 to begin the season. People
Wow.
expected you to make the playoffs. Dropped 8 spots. You're currently in 14th, though. Obviously, that McCaffrey injury did take you down, a couple spots, but whew, to drop 8,
Yep.
tough.
A- And then give us the three
And then
perfects here, Vinny.
And then we have three perfects. So number 1, we did rank Ricky, and he's number 1 in the standings right now.
Yep.
After that, though, we have to drop all the way to 12. We did have
Wow.
Jordan at number 12, and then Dumont at number 13. So three perfects, 9 weeks in?
And I can
Unbelievable.
can I just add to the few of the perfects right there
Yep.
for the absolute tantrum that Dumont had at the beginning of the season talking about these power rankings and how he's going to prove everybody wrong. We are right where you are right where we expected you to be, man. There's literally this was no surprise to any of us. No more tantrums. It's either you put your money where your mouth is or stop talking about how good your team is when you're down at the bottom year after year.
And he didn't make one.
Nope.
No,
And I was gonna say that, Brian. Thank you so much. It wouldn't be a freaking King's Court without a little salt in the wound for Dumont here. Um,
I'm playing him this week, so I had to get the little rivalry going again from last year. So
I love that. Dude, I hit him up on earlier in the week. I'm like, bro, I'm so disappointed in you. And he's like, why, dude? What the hell did I do? I'm like, you were in last place and I shit on you week after week. And you finally come out of last place. Marty goes to 14th. And I thought you were gonna ragdoll Marty, dude. And just not a peep. So disappointed in you, Dumont. I can't even
Can you
begin to.
ragdoll when you're in 13th, though?
I thought he would literally just be like, I'm not in 14th. You can't shoot on me anymore. Still near the bottom.
I thought he was gonna. I could easily see him saying, "Hey, congratulations to everybody in 13th and above tonight." On this
Exactly,
wonderful
dude.
Tuesday.
That
Where are you, Dumont?
Yeah.
We miss your chats in there, man. We know life gets busy, but we know you're also one of the loudest and the one that like to bark up for all the dogs, right?
for all the dogs. That's awesome. And so it was very, very unbelievable when you said we nailed three teams so far. So
Yeah.
good on you, Vinny, bringing up the stats there.
And even if you look at the other ones, they're not perfect, but they're still so close to within reach. Like who by the end of the season, it literally can end up being a perfect list. You never know.
Yeah, no, I like myself, I was preseason number 9. I'm at 11, so not too far off. I know AK was near the bottom too.
I was at 8 and I'm literally in 7th right now. Like
Yeah,
Spence and
see?
I have a tied
Yeah,
record.
I mean,
So
we did have Stick, Diego, and Dylan all pretty high. They weren't
yeah.
perfect. I think they were each either 1 or 2 off. The only other person that was a little farther off was myself, went from 4 to 9. Other than that, everyone else is super close.
Boo, Vinny, your team sucks.
Not the way you want to go,
I
Vinny.
know, I know.
So, boys, what I thought we'd do today is break down each team. Hey, what are some team needs? Maybe they have some players that why are they still on your roster, dude? Like you're not contending this year. Why are they on your roster? Try and get pieces and stuff like that. And then just some trade for guys like, hey, like I know the three of us are going to be chatting up here. So maybe we can reveal, hey, what we're looking for in a player off our team that guys can use this King's Court to be like, hey, that didn't sound like a bad offer. I'll send it to him and see where we're at. That is the point of this trade deadline special, boys. Get the juices flowing because I don't want to be negative. Maybe we're not going to see fireworks. I don't know though.
It could be peeps.
It could be peeps, dude.
Bunch of
Like,
crickets.
give me a scenario where it is peeps because I'll tell you right now. I think that us being so close to each other in the standings, literally one game separates the 6 seed all the way down to the 11 seed. And it's like everyone's competing with themselves. No one wants to help each other out. Like, I'll tell you right now, if I get a good deal, I'm sending a guy and I'm shipping his ass out. Like, that's how it is with me. I don't know about you guys, but do you have a similar feeling that because we're too close, it's been a little quieter lately?
Vinny, do you want to go first on that one?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to trade a guy to somebody who's then going to knock you out of the playoff race, right?
That's what
But
it
I
is.
mean, of course, you get a good offer for somebody, you got to take it regardless if you're at the top, bottom, middle, wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
What
the
do you
big
say,
thing
Joker?
for yeah, the big thing for me is I've been actively selling this entire season. I have said since the draft, I don't know if anybody remembers, I'm not a contender this year. I truly don't believe that I was. I don't think I had the depth. I sold off a lot of players. I picked up a lot of draft picks. So y'all hit me up if you are looking to dispose of some of your draft picks. The only one who is not available at this moment are Lamar Jackson and Brock Bowers. The reason why Lamar is not available is because Dumont was trying to get 3 firsts for my 1 first because he said I was going to be a lottery pick. Um, Apparently that's not the case at the moment. I'm a playoff team, so let me know if anybody wants to make some trades right now.
I like it. I like it. Hit us up, boys. I know the three of us are always in the mood to talk. So we just get lonely sometimes, you know? We need a
All the
friend.
time. All the time, man.
All right. So let's kick it off. I think we should start at the top because again, the teams at the bottom, and I think we could all agree they should be selling. There's no reason to hold on to players. Go get those picks and try and better yourself for next season. Like, if you think holding on to a team, and this is why, like, speaking from experience last year, I sold off early because I'm like, these players are not helping me. They're only hurting me in the draft order. I'm like, they got to go. And I thought I built my team up back up to have respectable starters and stuff like that. So it really does just take one off season to turn yourself around. And on that
Yeah, I
note,
agree.
we'll start with Ricky. What do you think we got some team needs here for, boys? Because I think Ricky's at the top, and I think he's sitting pretty personally. There's no need for anything going on over here. And what I would say, just to kick things off, I think he could use a flex player. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing, right, is they said Pacheco is potentially coming back late November, so who knows what Kareem Hunt is going to be doing at that point.
Yep.
Not I know he has Josh Jacobs on a bye week this week, so he's not in the starting lineup, but
Yes,
the
sir.
rest of the running back kind of like core that he has in there, not the strongest. If he's in first place, I might be looking to move some of those second picks just for like an older running back, maybe somebody that gets you through the rest of the season. We'll call it a rental like we would in real life, picking up like a player, somebody old, try to make a championship run. And obviously he has some pretty talented players that are also on the IR at the moment, but that's kind of that's really the big move that I see for Ricky for being. I feel like that's kind of one thing that killed him at the end of last year was not going
His
as
lack of
all in
depth.
at the trade deadline. He was pretty much wire to wire the best team. It's the lack of depth that killed you in the playoffs. And that's one way that you could avoid that here is really looking at moving some of those picks if you're really trying to go all in for that championship. It's dynasty. It's scary to do it, but if you're going to go for the chip, I mean, I feel like that's one thing we can all kind of like get behind at times.
Yeah.
I mean,
Vinny?
I'm gonna debate with you there. I think he did go all in at the trade deadline last year because it was the
Maybe I'm
Josh
misremembering.
Jacobs trade.
That was,
Which,
yeah.
yo, I I pulled it up, Hugo, but if you want
I
to pull it
got
up
it.
on the
Yep.
screen
I
there,
got it right
ex
here.
exactly a year ago today
That's
for
crazy.
two firsts
Wow, I
and a
didn't even
Chuba.
notice.
Can I be
Good
honest?
job, Vinny.
No, that's great. I thought it was earlier in the season, but that's actually I'm glad you fact checked me on that. I look like a fool, but I own my mistake. I honestly, but I still stand. I still think that some more depth is needed for an actual
Yeah,
championship run in a 14-person team. Look at how even the teams are across the board. You're going to need depth. Injuries are going to happen at some point. So
yeah. We
I
we
still
all
maintain
Yeah, I
the,
realize
the trade on that.
we all
definitely
realize
agree with you with
injuries.
everything else you said,
Yeah.
Yep.
for sure.
So I think we could all agree like one more running back for Ricky and he's cruising on easy street.
Yep.
All right,
It's a
boys.
solid team. I was just looking at it, dude. It's
Yeah,
a good ass team.
Ricky, you're gonna be a
It
contender this
really
year,
is.
man. You know it.
As long as you have Josh Allen, you're a contender. Like
Yes.
you're always going to be in the mix.
Yeah, and hey, Josh Allen, fourth overall in our initial rookie draft. Like for a guy like that, yeah, you go up high and select your
Yep.
guy, and it's
Yep.
been working out for him. He's been at the top of the league ever since it started.
Yep.
All right, number two, we're gonna kick it off to Alex. Alex, I love you, mean it. We're gonna say some stuff about your team here, and Vinny's like giving you the little thinking about it and stuff like that. Here we go, baby.
I'm
Um,
ready to say some stuff.
all right, kick us off, Vinny. Send it.
So I just want to start off that love you, Alex. Biggest pretender in this league, and I'll tell you why. Second in points against right now, ninth in points for. And you might think, like, oh, maybe he's just not starting the perfect lineup. Maybe his bench is going off. No, he's still eighth in max points for. So it's not even like there's this awesome player on the bench that keeps going off that he can throw in. He's just not putting up a lot of points.
And he's got
Nobody's
great
putting up
matchup.
points against him.
Yep.
He's had some great matchups, some great wins with a low amount of points. Should be a playoff team, but I'm giving IB my biggest pretender this year.
Based off the record alone, I think if he gets one more, for sure, two more wins, he's a lock. I think one more win the rest of the year in the 5 weeks, and I think IB's going to be a lock for playoffs. But I'm right there with you. I don't want to use the pretender word. I'm more of a fraud guy. And I just don't believe in IB.
Same thing.
I'm sorry, Alex. I know that you try really hard and you like your team. You do have a good team. It's just you don't got the big time stars besides CeeDee Lamb that are really gonna get it done for you right now. So Brian, what do you got to say? What do you think he should do here?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think he has a good team, but I also think it's been one of the most inconsistent teams. Like, who would have thought Chuba Hubbard is going to be, what is he, number 7 running back currently by scoring standards? Like, he's had an unbelievable year.
RB7.
Javonte Williams, especially the last few weeks, he's been a little bit more consistent throughout this season. Again, I think it's very similar
Starting
to
to
Ricky.
teeter-totter back and forth here.
Yeah.
The last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
He had a
I-
127-point game, but then almost single digits the rest of the way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially one thing that helps in this league is like the points for first downs, which is nice for like running backs and stuff like that.
Yep.
But the big thing that I look at, it's again similar to Ricky. You happen to have, because of that trade with Ricky, you have a little bit of a plethora of firsts. Nothing wrong with like trading a couple, like a first or a second, getting some of those depth guys. If I was him, the first thing I'm looking for, based off of CeeDee Lamb and Metcalf both being banged up,
Yeah.
I'm looking to get a wide receiver. I know running backs are honestly kind of a premium in this league. It's a 14-person league. If you ask the majority of people for a running back, I don't care if they're in their 30s, people are going to be wanting basically first at this point. But I think wide receivers are probably, just with them being banged up, your best bet for you being able to get some kind of like insurance policy on this roster at the moment.
And that what we were talking about with like Ricky, that all-in factor, like Alex, you're 7-2. You got to go for it, dude. Like you're holding on to 2 firsts and 2 seconds this year. Sure, that's awesome ammo in the off season, but we're here right now in the present, and you got potential. If you make a big trade for a wide receiver like what Brian's talking about, or go get a stud running back, use that capital, a first and a second. There's teams that'll take that like right now.
I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I know we were talking about doing some potential trade hypotheticals. I'm looking at it right now, basically a perfect opportunity. You've got Marty down sitting there at 14th place. He's got a pretty good core of running backs, McCaffrey's hurt. He's probably coming back soon, but I'm looking at something like even like a DeAndre Swift, or if I'm looking at running backs, like he's got a McConkey, or you could even plug in. I'm trying to look
Receiver.
down here. Like I know Olave is, yeah, we're looking at receivers. But you could even look at like Olave too, who's injured right now, but it could be somebody who ends up paying off for you at the second half of the season. It's a big pay, but contenders or the championship winners end up having some kind of big payment throughout the
Or
season
could you go
to
a
get
much
there.
cheaper option and start a guy that is a little startable in Slayton this year?
You could. He's
Which,
been okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
which
wouldn't
is
have
not
to
going to cost
probably give up
you.
as much.
Yeah, a third or
Probably a
maybe a
third.
fourth. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I definitely needs receiver help here. Are you shocked that he hasn't made a move? Like we all
No.
know Alex and how he
No.
trades. Like I'm not shocked that he hasn't made a move because he holds his picks and like he really likes his picks. And it takes a lot for him to move, but if there's like you're 7-2, dude, I would kill to be 7-2 and
I,
have like this ammo, and I would not have any first or seconds this year.
I would even go as far to say is that big trade that you made in the offseason is what helped fueled to get you here to that 7-2 at this point. Kyle Pitts has looked a little bit better over the last few weeks, and even
Yep,
Tank Dell, it seems like, is probably going to have some more targets coming his way with Diggs being hurt. So,
yep. So just some things. Again, we love you, Alex. Hopefully that wasn't a too big of a rag, but
no, I'm going to kiss his forehead next time I see him.
yeah. But we all agreed when we were talking about your team earlier. It's like, dude, go for it, man. Go for it. Move some pieces. Like you are the perfect person that this episode is for to hopefully encourage you to do something here.
I want to see an explosion from
He-
Ivy, dude. I would love
He's
to see
the
a big trade.
only person. He's the only person this high in the standings with this many picks.
Yes.
The
Yeah, it's
only one.
crazy.
Crazy, man. Because the next team we're about to pop up, dude, it, look at this trade ammo. Dylan, we're
Yeah.
about to talk about you, bro. Because Dylan, granted, he started it last year, starting to go all in and stuff like that, which is why he has a great team. Let's talk about it here, boys. In my opinion, the best quarterback.
Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, getting his butt touched?
Yeah. So, Joker, give it to me here with Dylan.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you look at the points for, right? It's top in the league. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't click on the max, but
I
you just look at this roster up and
He's
down.
number one.
number one,
It's
and
number one.
yeah,
I figured
Yeah.
as
he's
much.
putting up points.
You know what, too? The biggest thing, he's got compared to a lot of other people in the league, he's got a lot of points against him too, and he's still got a record like that. Says a lot about your team. It's the lineup is strong through and through. I mean,
Yeah.
you can look at his roster. It's a great fantasy quarterback. I'm not going to say a good real life quarterback. You've got some really good running back depth. You have elite wide receivers. I'm going to go as far to say, especially with AJ Brown, and then you've got guys to back it up too throughout the bye weeks and the injuries.
Ken
I
Walker on by, like on his bench. Like
Yep.
he's set.
Yeah, and you know
And
what? Even Judy's been a little bit better over like this season compared to in previous ones. It's a good depth piece wide receiver. Not elite, but he's somebody who's going to help you win some weeks during those bye weeks and everything.
Yep.
I don't know, man. You don't have a lot to go with like draft picks, so if you're
And-
going to end if
and
you want to
that's
pick up
why.
if you went all in, you did your thing. If you did decide you wanted to recoup some of those draft picks, you sell them off to some of these guys who are contending that do have picks. But
Yep.
I think you've got great depth going into the second half of the season, man. Like your team it's dope. It's a really good team.
Dylan doesn't have a first or a second round pick until 27. I'm sorry, 2028. If I had a team like this, I too would not have any first or seconds because this is
Yeah.
the perfect way of going all in. Like, if look at the studs everywhere, like, and he has the depth. Like, he traded the pieces. Good for you, Dylan. You're gonna be one of the top 3 favorites to win it this year, dude.
Yep.
Vinny, anything to add on him? Because he doesn't have the ammo to go get someone really, unless it's like a player swap and that kind of deal, right?
No, I think like player wise, he's looking maybe the best out of everybody.
I
But
think so too.
if you are looking the best out of everybody and you don't have the picks, is this where like maybe you could try to trade a non-starter to at least get something back so you're not sitting with just thirds and fourths for the next 3 years?
Mhm.
Or do you really want to sit there and say, no, I'm going to take all the depth, I'm going to take as much as this team can go and just wait until 2028 to actually have draft picks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I bet you right now he would have no problem selling off T. Higgins. Like, that's a guy like what you just said. Perfect example. on his bench, not getting any starter time. Granted, he's hurt. Story of T. Higgins' career, unfortunately. But this is a guy that I think people can go out and get and talk to with Dylan. So we'll see. Anything to add? I
Yeah.
think we were good with him.
Yeah, I mean, just in that aspect too, I know he's on the IR, and I honestly, I'm gonna be honest, after that injury that he had, I don't know if he's coming back, but like you could potentially trade Godwin to somebody who wants to try to reload into next year, and that would give you also even like a little bit of an asset too. I know he's a little bit older, but I always look to see who's on IR as somebody who's
Yeah.
currently in a rebuild. I always look to see, I'm always scouting people's IRs just to see if there is a trade that I can throw in there, and try to pick somebody up for the following season if I know this year isn't my year.
There you go. I'm sure he wouldn't have a problem selling off Godwin either.
All
It'll
right, I'll
be
probably hit him up, dude.
not full price, but
No, definitely not. It when you sell IR players, it's usually a discount.
absolutely. We'll move on to Stick. And
What a season he's had trading, dude.
what an up and down season, really.
Yeah.
I'm very proud to say I gave him his first L of the year. And because he was my first win of the year.
I'm proud of you, dude.
But another team that is ready to roll, went all in, and I think one of the top three as well with Dylan to win this thing. So I don't think he's got any team needs because he's got guys like Montgomery and Cup on the bench, right, guys?
Yeah. Vinny, you want
Yeah.
to start with this one?
I mean, how much is there to say? The team's just ready to compete now. There's seems like there's no other moves to be made. I'd be shocked if there was. And I think he's just ready to try to ride this out for 2 or 3 years. I mean, he has some aging guys, but I
Yeah,
think he's
I'm on
just
the lower end.
full in.
Maybe I think next year he'll be fine, and I think he'll be lucky if he gets another season after that.
Well, I'm counting this year as one, next year
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 2 years. I'm with you on the 2 years. This and next year, and then I think our boy's cooked.
He does have, there's some older players, but he's got a lot of good young depth in there. I mean, he has Neighbors, he has HN.
Neighbors.
Who knows what Quorum's going to end up being, with like the running back situation in the NFL today.
Jefferson?
Estime and his taxi too.
Yeah, if that is the case, like even if he only has a few years, this is you literally like you just ride with what you have, and it's like you've already executed on your plan. Like
Yeah.
it's a damn good team. I hate to see that fourth sitting there, man. Like you got to get rid of that. Like I need a zero pick roster out of you. Like I need you to just get rid of it. I don't know why that's sitting there. Please trade it to somebody.
I love that. I mean, with insurance, yeah. He literally has one injury to one guy. I got a fourth to offer. How about that?
Yep.
But Stick's trade deadline special was before the season even started.
Yeah.
So get on your Stick. You're ready to compete, kid. Diego, this son of a bitch. I think here's where we're gonna get real interesting here, boys. Because I think Diego's hurting a little bit here.
Really hurting.
Yeah, Joker, you want to take it away here? Because I think Diego has some work to do.
Yeah, I mean, we ranked Diego. Initially we put him? I think he was the second ranked team, amongst
number
the league.
2.
Yeah, he was the champ last year. It's still a solid team. His running backs, I mean, you have Henry and Kamara. They are literally 1 and 2 when it comes to running backs. It's an insane premium to have, especially in this league.
Yep.
The wide receivers at this point are the weak point. Waddle has not been playing like. Yeah, Waddle does not look good. As a fellow Waddle owner in another league, I'm holding to the moon and back. Like, there's no way I sell him right now. He's too talented. But yeah, it's just I don't know down the stretch with all these injuries that he suffered. Ayuk on the IR. Who knows what Pacheco's going to look like when he comes back, especially with how good Hunt has kind of like looked along with this offense and everything. Who knows? I'm sure he's going to have a role in there, but I don't know. I think
with Pacheco, what'll happen with him is once he comes back right away, he'll need at least 4 weeks really to get going.
Yeah.
But come playoff time for the Chiefs, he's back to workhorse for sure.
Yeah.
And I think Hunt takes a back seat.
They'll save him for the playoffs, I feel like, for sure. So that's not going to mean much for our playoffs, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. I still think, to be honest with you, even with where I know obviously it's nice that JMO is back. I still think even with where his wide receivers are currently at, like he has his second this year. He has his first going into the year after that.
Yep.
Again, I think he's another candidate where you kind of like, if you really want to take that next step, like Braylon Allen's not going to carry you to a championship this year, and Joe
No.
Flacco is not coming knocking this year. You're not going to get that same kind of anomaly season. I mean, you never know, I
Jonathan
guess.
Mingo isn't coming either. Sorry
No,
to
he's
burst
not.
that bubble,
He's
Diego.
not. He's not. But I'm going to be honest. If you have Derrick Henry and Kamara with the way they look this year, I think you can get away with a lot of it and just ride it out with what you have. But I still think you're somebody that wants to move some picks. I think
Yeah.
if you want to go be the two-time in our first two inaugural seasons, that's really the only move for you because I don't think anybody's going to take the IR spots at the moment.
Yeah, and I
I
don't
mean,
think
he did make a deal too
Yeah,
a
no,
few
he did.
weeks ago. So he grabbed Kittle, which I think is an
Yeah.
excellent tight end,
so.
Number
older
one.
player.
Kittle, Mingo, and a 25-second Zeke first and 2 seconds. I thought it was a market deal.
Yeah.
And when I say market deal, I think he paid a little extra just because it's a tight end, and this kind of haul you don't really see for tight ends. But when you've been the number one tight end, there's going to be a premium for that.
Yeah.
So
I just want to say I'm not saying Diego hasn't made like any moves or anything. I'm
Yeah.
just if he wants to take that next step, similar to again where Ricky and Alex are at. I think it just comes down to picks unless you trade some of these other guys that happen to be younger and you want somebody who's more established this season, scoring more points each week.
yeah,
That's what championship contenders do.
Or is there a bigger Drake May fan than Diego?
Oh,
He got
man.
a flex player out of him.
There might be a few, dude. We've definitely got some Pats fans in here.
Yeah, right. But I think Diego definitely needs a receiver. Ayuk going down hurt him a lot because
Yep.
he doesn't have that talent that he could put in. He could gloat about, oh, Jacoby Myers, he's the real deal. No, he's not, dude. Like he's not that number
Yo,
one stud.
I gotta say something. Him saying that Jacoby Myers has always been better than Devontae Adams just blew my mind, dude.
Vinny
That
probably had
was
to go
one of
for a
the-
walk.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I was pacing around my own apartment and just like, what did I just read? Are you serious?
I'm just picturing Vinny walking around his apartment with his old Devontae Adams jersey in his hand, like walking by, dude, just like furious, just like, no, he's fucking not, dude.
Oh, that's funny. But I think that's what to wrap. And the second that he has, which is coolest, is it's not a bad second. Pretty good if you ask me.
Yeah.
So that could be a nice trip to go get a good receiver.
Yeah, whose
So-
second does he have? Oh, it's Matt's at the
Cool.
moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Coolest
it's like
is-
a good mid-level second. So
Mid-level
you can definitely get some good value out of it. You're probably going to get more value out of it this year than you would in the who knows in the draft. You truly never know, but you can
Yeah.
definitely get some good value for a team that's rebuilding. I'll
Yeah.
take it, man.
Yeah, I
Hit
definitely
me up,
think
dude.
now is when to. I'll take it too. And,
No, hey,
and
yeah,
I
hit
live
me
with
up.
the kid, and I've never been able to get a deal done because you could
Yeah.
only imagine our conversations.
Oh,
Two
I know, yeah.
freaking
My God,
heavy-minded
after
people
a couple
going at it.
beers, no, I can't.
So, boys, we're about to transition into what I think is the real competitive part of the league here. Just because we got 2 minutes on here. 6 through 11, boys. We'll quickly wrap it up in a minute here. This part of the trade deadline special. This is gonna be a real rock fight here. These next 5 weeks.
Yep.
And just real quick. Any guesses? Are we going to see a team under 500 make it, you think?
I honestly, I think the 7 and 8 teams honestly could finish under 500 and still end up making it. Just the bottom of the league is so low that I don't know, and I don't mean low in like a bad way, but it's you can win a couple weeks there and steal like the 7 and 8 spot, but you still might not beat these upper echelon teams that are up there once you get past this point.
Yep.
So when it's 14 weeks though, to finish under 5, you got to be 6 and 8.
Yeah.
So do we think the team will be 6 and 8? at
If
the
I
8
make it,
spot?
I don't see myself winning past 6 games. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
say if I somehow make it, it's a miracle. But
I'm at 4 wins right now, Vinny. I looked ahead at my own personal schedule. I think I'm going 2 and 3 the rest of the way. I would be a 6 and 8 team that would make playoffs if I am so lucky enough to.
yeah,
So, but we'll see. Boys, we're gonna finish this segment right over here. It's been very fun starting this up. So we'll be right back, guys, for part 2 of the trade deadline special. Stay tuned.